All over the world, numerous amounts of crimes happen in seconds. Some willingly partaking, and some unknowingly. But we will never stop spreading the word until the criminals are captured.
A mother and her daughter, both stabbed to death, 16 years apart. Both cases unsolved. A D.C. murder mystery. Georgette Banks, 47 years old, the mother of 5 children, found stabbed on Mother's Day in the stairwell of this apartment building on Martin Luther King Avenue in Southeast. Her throat slit. Gloria Banks, Georgette's mother, murdered August 29, 2005 in the parking lot off 14th Street Northwest. She was walking from her daughter's house to a nearby bus stop. Gloria Banks, 49 years old. Smokey Ward, a retired D.C. homicide detective, remembers working the case.
It was blood scattered everywhere. It was a very violent scene.
I remember covering that story, talking to merchants and neighbors about the impact of the murder. Police all over the place. Smokey says he developed a suspect, but never got enough evidence to lock him up. Now, almost 16 years later, Gloria's daughter Georgette stabbed to death. A friend says Georgette worked in home improvement, but was always troubled by her mother's violent death. Now, there's no evidence that the suspect in these mother-daughter murders is the same man. But it has Smokey Ward thinking, well, some detective thoughts.
It's highly unusual for mother and daughter both to be stabbed to death like that, I feel. And I dealt with a lot of homicides. I never had it happen to me before.
If you have any information about these unsolved murders, D.C. police want to hear from you. I'm Pat Collins, News for Washington.
Well, here we go, y'all. So, mother and daughter both stabbed to death, 16 years apart. The mother was stabbed to death leaving her daughter's house, the one who was recently stabbed. When she was walking to a bus stop. They developed a suspect, but they didn't have enough evidence to hold and book the suspect, okay? Now, the daughter, 16 years later, throat is slit, okay? And they cannot find a suspect. So they're saying it could be a possibility. It could be the same person. Or maybe this is just some freaky shit where they just happen to die the same way. And sometimes things happen like that. I know a couple of stories where some people died the same way their parents died, or it doesn't always happen like that, but sometimes it can, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the same person. It just be like, wow, that's crazy. She or he died the same way that, their mother died. And, it gets kind of weird and crazy like that. Now, we all remember the death of Whitney Houston and Bobby Christina, right? Whitney Houston died in the bathtub. They said she drowned. She drowned in the bathtub. They don't know if she was high and was taking a bubble bath and then just kind of fell asleep or whatever and drowned that way. But remember, the media was blaming Nick Gordon, the guy Nick Gordon, Bobby Christina's boyfriend. They said he had relationships with both of them, if they weren't mistaken. First, Whitney had him, and then I guess Bobby Christina ended up with her. I don't know how it went. I don't know how true that is. But remember, that they were putting her death on Gordon. They were putting her death on him, saying and Bobby Brown said the same thing. He thinks that Nick Gordon drowned Whitney while she was in a bathtub. That's like you been in a bathtub, you're taking a bubble bath, you got your eyes closed, you relaxing, you manifesting. Somebody comes in the bathroom. Now, some people, I don't care how heavy they are, some people can walk really light, okay? They can walk really light and be light on their feet, and they be 400 or 500 pounds. And then you got little skinny people who walk hard, so it's just different. Or maybe when you heard somebody come in the bathroom, it's one of your kids or whatever, so you're not thinking anything of it. So you don't budge. You're just thinking maybe they coming in here to get some or whatever. But then you have someone who just grabs you and holds you underneath water, and there's really nothing you can do. So that's what they were saying that Whitney Houston death stimulated from. We don't know, but that's what the accusations were. However, Bobby Christina still remained with him. I believe that she was kind of green and blind when it came to him. I'm not sure if that was her first boyfriend, but I kind of think that it was. I'm not sure. But we all had our moments where we were all blind about something or, oblivious to the fact of whatever. So we don't know. He could have drowned her while Christy was downstairs and then came rushing downstairs saying, I just checked on her, she's gone. We don't know how that situation happened. But whatever it was, Christy didn't believe it and she stayed with him. And now look at how Bobby Christina died. She was in the bathtub. They said that she had alcohol and marijuana in her system and it was mixed with prescription medications. So, but she died in the bathtub. Well, she didn't exactly die in the bathtub. She became unconscious and in the bathtub, unresponsive. And ambulance were called and she was taken to the hospital because remember they had her on the machine for a while and then they finally had let her go. But whatever the case may be, Nick Gordon was there. So how crazy and freaky this happened twice, okay? Now look at him. He's dead, okay? He gone now. Years later after her. Whitney went in 2012. Bobby Christina went in 2015. Now he's gone. He went in 2020 from a heroin overdose. However, they didn't have a suspect for these ladies. They don't have a suspect. And they can't tie somebody to it. They thought they did, but they couldn't tie the person to it. So whoever they thought was the suspect could have very well possibly been the suspect. They just didn't have enough evidence. Now, they said someone close to her said she was never really got over her mother's death and she was always frightened about it. Now, maybe she knew who did it. You can know who did it and still not turn a person in because you're afraid. Maybe she had a clue. She felt like she knew who did it. But you never know. Maybe she didn't know who did it. You never know how it went. But she carried that with her all those years. But look at her now. And she died on Mother's Day of 2021. She got killed on Mother's Day. 16 years apart. So this is, it's kind of fishy. It could possibly be the same person. Sometimes when people don't like you, they don't like your kids either. That's quite natural. When people hate you and they're envious of you and they want to take you out, they want to take your kids out, they want to take your family out, they want to take everybody out around you. Who knows, whoever killed her mom, if this was the same person that killed her, They could have just been sitting back waiting to kill her. You don't know. Because they probably been wanting to kill her, but they could have said it was too soon. Because then they would know and link that to her mother's murder. So, I don't know. It's I'm not a detective. I just love crime stories. And this is just simply a passion. I like to analyze stuff, but however, I'm not always right. But we're just gonna have fun on this channel. I know it's crime stories, and you'd be like, how can you have fun with crime? But we just gonna live it up on this channel, okay? We're gonna pray for the victims' families. We're gonna do all of that. But go ahead and get the comment section cracking. Drop whatever you feel. Drop whatever you think. At the end of the day, we don't know. It's just it seems like it's a mystery how things like this happen. Maybe y'all have some stories that y'all gonna drop down in the comment section. Let's just get the comment section cracking, okay? All right, until next time on Crime Stories with Nina, #CSWN. Lego. As we continue to pray for the healing of this nation and let God rule and reign, we won't stop fighting. Because most of all, we want justice.